Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play The Life and Suffering of Sir Brante with me, Alpha Omega, and Rudolf Brante. So the year is 1146, we are in Chapter 5, part The March of the New Faith. So let's see if we can prevent a massacre between the believers, shall we? An enormous sea of humanity flows through Anisot, filling the streets of the Temple District. They are led by Abbot Leonard. New believers walk peacefully behind him, many of them women and the elderly. They are unarmed. Their faces show neither fear nor anger. They are so drastically unlike the throngs of rebels who are currently ransacking streets and looting noble houses. Oh God, I'm really so glad that we send our family out. The procession slowly makes its way towards the temple at the Silver Tree. The temple has always been where patriarchs of the church accepted their sacred duty, along with the heavy burden of responsibility for their flock before the twin gods. When a patriarch speaks, the twins pay heed, and every 8 years it falls upon the patriarch to proclaim in their sight how their world is humbly following the lot it has been given. Long after the twins descended to our world, the patriarchs came to be elected at the conclave by the clergy. This tradition has continued for many years. Today, dozens of priests have come to the temple in spite of the unrest to conduct their rite and spare the twins' world from their wrath. But now thousands of commoners are walking to the same temple to elect the new patriarch themselves. You and your followers take a side street to the temple, avoiding the immense procession. Soon the square by the tree is packed, teeming, overwhelmed. But the stairs to the temple doors cannot be reached. A stalwart phalanx of champions of faith block the way, with Jean in the lead. Is that her? She looks like a guy. I thought that was... oh, I don't know, I thought it was a man. They are joined by the Inquisitors, those who have decided to walk the path of the old faith until the very end. It is her. Damn, the pictures have changed for so many characters. Sophia looks like this now. Thomas I know of. Octavia. Poor Octavia. Jean. Dorius is dead, thank God. Iris, I really wonder what her story would be. Jose Alpelatier. Remy Elverman. Oh yeah, he was hanged in front of the house. Father Mark. Oh, we don't know what happened to him. Interesting. Felipe R. Ferro, nobleman, advisor to the secret chancellery. Okay. Cool. And I have to say that at this point I'm really happy that Gloria is out of harm's way, married, with children hopefully. Jean, I will not allow you into the temple, Leonard. These heretics will not make you patriarch. Father Leonard slowly begins to ascend the stairs. He does not argue with Jean. The abbot simply faces her with a humble smile and gestures at the people standing behind him. Doubt clouds the champions' faces. Leonard's procession is truly staggering. Even if they are mere commoners, even if they are unarmed and empty-handed, there are simply too many of them to be stopped by a few dozen old believers. Father Leonard, Sister Jean, look at them. Are they truly heretics? All of them? They are just people, our brothers and sisters in the faith. Why would the Inquisition treat us like enemies? Why would the Inquisition... Oh, Father Leonard is... okay, so he's a new believer. Okay, so he's standing... I thought that he was actually talking with Jean, but he is on the side of the new abbot. Why would the Inquisition treat us like enemies? We do not reject the twin gods. Nay, we seek them with our every thought. Jean, you reject the law of the younger when you choose to seek your own laws. Father Leonard, no, Jean. The only thing we reject is error. Jean, this argument has been going on for years, Leonard. I know each and every point you can make. Don't even bother. You will not enter the temple. And all these people, you're just dragging them down to the foot of the pillar along with you. How can you still not understand this after so many years? What do you think you're doing, Leonard? Don't you fear the wrath of the gods? Father Leonard: I do not, John. When I become patriarch, I will tell the twins that we still love and revere them, just as we were and just as we always have, even as we seek a different path to them. The twins will hear us, they will listen, they will understand. There will be no wrath of the gods. The new believers heed Leonard's words. They begin to firmly ascend the stairs to the door of the temple. The champion's sword do not deter them. Jeanne watches the massive congregation approach her, her eyes filled with remorse. She raises an arm, about to give her final order. Champions of faith, protect the sacred temple, fight to the bitter end. You reach the foot of the stairs as she speaks these words. This is your last chance to intervene. Great, we cannot do anything. With the procession to the temple, we cannot. Stand with Jeanne and drive the procession away, we cannot. Save the new believers from bloodshed, we cannot. Due to willpower, great. Fend them off with the champions of the faith, we cannot. Due to the willpower. Order priests to attack, we cannot. So great, we can just walk away. This is another one of those great decisions. You're staying out of this. The fate of the faith will be decided without you. Great, so we just went here for nothing. There can never be peace between the Inquisition and the new believers. Sister Jeanne is right. The dispute between them has gone on for years. Neither side will ever yield to the other. You have nothing to gain here and everything to lose. You gesture to your followers hurriedly. Fall back. You watch Jeanne from a safe distance. No longer able to bear the tension, she orders the warriors to attack. In the name of the younger, go forth. Drive them from the square. The champions of faith obey Jeanne's order. They get into formation and begin advancing on the new believers, weapons in hands. The unarmed mob recoils in fear, but those in the front row are pushed from behind and driven onto the blades. Blood spatters onto the stairs of the sacred temple. A woman's voice lets out a shrill scream. The panic spreads through the mob like wildfire. Chaos fills the mind of women and men. They begin pushing, pulling, dashing, recoiling like frightened animals, and the warriors of the church keep advancing, unrelenting and lethal. A mighty gust of wind rushes over the square. It roars, howls, almost screams, filled with remorse, agony, and wrath. The earth begins to tremble beneath your feet. Before your eyes, as though in some terrible nightmare, the roof of the sacred temple begins to shake, and the pillars start to sway back and forth. Jeanne, no! Father Leonard, by the twins, what is happening? The street jerks beneath you, buckling slightly. Some of your men struggle to remain on their feet, but you cannot look away from the square and the terrifying sight unfolding there, as people try in vain to escape the divine reckoning. After a few minutes, silence falls. Where the temple of the silver tree once stood, there is nothing. The grand majestic structure is no more. It has been leveled to the ground. Remnants of its walls and roof are strewn across the square like building blocks scattered by a massive hand. The stairs that once led to it have been grounded into gravel. A cloud of dust slowly settles upon the square. After the dust comes the leaves. Thousands and thousands of leaves shed by the silver tree. They cover the corpses of the truly dead like a pale white shroud. The entire square glows as the bodies of those yet to be reborn dissolves into nothingness. There are so many that the light stings your eyes, even though the thick dust that still hangs over it all. Just how many people met their deaths today? You do not see another living soul in the square. Neither Leonard nor Jeanne survived the temple's collapse. The two irreconcilable enemies were both buried in the rubble. The wrath of the gods knows no mercy. What is done is done. There is no changing it. You begin mustering your forces and prepare to move to Empire Square. Enormous crowds of people are already on their way there. about to choose the leader of the Anisot rebellion. The sun slowly begins to set. Father wanted true death, Jean buried alive. Order -2, the revolt +2, bloodbath. Willpower +5. Well, cool. And now it's evening. I don't know, these... You cannot do anything unless your willpower choices are just awful. The rebel leader. The sun is setting. The blood-red sky quavers in the hot smoke from the fires raging through the city. You cannot help but recall a passage from the lives of the twins, one of the many pages Mother used to quote when you were a child. And their elder said, "Lo, I have cast a flame into the world, and I shall guard it until it begins to blaze." Could this passage be referring to today? You lead your followers to the Empire Square. You walk around the rubble, past abandoned carriages and unfinished barricades. There have clearly been clashes here recently. The dust of the departed is still rising into the sky. Thousands fill the square before the Chancellery, well over half the commoners of Anisot. The Chancellor has been under rebel control since noon. All Imperial officials either fled or were torn apart by the mob. So that means that what was his name? He's probably dead as well, right? Felipe? We don't know. Scraps of rumors and gossip reach your ears as you move closer. Did you hear what happened at the Great Tree? It's the Inquisitors. They just started slaughtering folks. They grabbed them swords of theirs and started killing unarmed people. When its procession made it to the temple, there was a sign from the twins. All lies. The twins got angry and destroyed them all under the tree. The temple's gone. I tell ya, gone for good. The crowd is on edge. Any dispute could explode into a brawl. A voice from the Chancellery stairs calls for another people's court. The mob turns as one. Several Astral rebels drag a handful of well-dressed nobles out onto the steps and force them to their knees. The leader of the executioners is a preacher with a mane of unkempt hair and the wild eyes of a lunatic. Father Fuad. That reminds me of the, what's it called, Boyard Keep? That was someone like there. Father Fuad, rambling old preacher who joined the last straw as an insurgent. The younger he speaks through us. He does. He gave us the powers of his law, the power to punish our enemies, to execute them. Anyone who stands in our way is an enemy of the twins themselves. People, it's time to judge these enemies of the simple folk. What is your sentence? The mob roars so loud the square shakes. Death! True death! The last straw rebels ready their guns. One of the captives gets to his feet and speaks out defiantly. Oh, it's Valerius! Ha ha! You dare call this pathetic freak show a people's court? You don't have the power, you never have, and you never will. You think you can wield the law of the twins? Bah! We'll come back, and we'll make you pay. The aged nobleman's last words are drowned out by the thunderous volley of gunfire. One by one, nobles collapse, their bodies pierced by bullets. They remain where they fall. The mob gasps in amazement. There can be no doubt. The People's Court has the power to mete out true death at will. Father Fuad, this is what will happen to anyone who dares to oppose us. All hail the revolt. All hail our leader. All hail Sophia. Sophia's gonna lead us. She's gonna fend off the Legion. She's gonna bring justice. First to Anisot, then to the whole Empire. She's gonna tear down the old ways and wipe all them tyrants and nobles from the face of the world. The mob explodes into an ecstatic chant. They shout one word over and over again. Sophia! Sophia! The enormous throng bellows wildly, eager to see the face of its leader. Okay, and we can not do anything other than That's cool. Okay, so we cannot unite the rebels around Sophia because of willpower. We cannot take control of the revolt. We cannot break up the mob due to the willpower. We cannot destroy their morale. We cannot overthrow Sophia. Okay, because the revolt is above 8. Okay, so okay, cool. So because we couldn't save the believers, we cannot overthrow Sophia now. Watch what happens next. So do not get involved. You stay away from the mob and watch events unfold. Good. So basically we cannot do anything. You keep your men away from the crowd and observe the situation from afar. This matter will be decided without your interference. The door to the chancellery swings open, and Sophia emerges before the thousands of people gathered in the square. Her silhouette seems to blaze in the light of the setting sun. She raises a clenched fist in the air, demanding silence. The enormous crowd instantly ceases its murmuring. The voice of the leader of the revolt rings with frigid fury. Sophia, people of Anisot, today is not only the day we took up arms and cast off our shackles. Today is the first day of a new era. We will begin by taking back our city. We will eliminate anyone who dares to stand in our way. Then we will declare war against the old regime, against the entire empire. No mercy! Upon hearing these words, even the most frantic rebels fall silent. A frightened murmur ripples through the crowd. Is Sophia asking them to take on the entire world? Sophia lifts her hand high. Her eyes gleam with yellow light. The mob involuntarily grows quiet and watches its leaders, rapt with attention. Sophia's golden glow is reflected in thousands of eyes. Sophia, that is right. War. No mercy. Nobles, defenders of the old faith, the tyrants of the old regime, they will all be executed by the people's court. Every single enemy of the Anisot revolt will be eliminated. Well, she's gone completely mad. She's the leader. Yeah, and she's insane. Arm yourselves, find and execute our enemies before the legion reaches the city, and then, when the bell tolls, go to the walls. We will unite the entire city and take our freedom by force. The peoples echo Sophia's cry. Artisans, merchants, peasants. From the outskirts of Anisot, they all take up arms and join the ranks of the last straw. The crowd storm the streets, ready to unleash its wrath against temples and noble houses alike. You lead your supporters out of the square. The time for the last battle has come. The watchmen inform me that the legion is only a few hours away. Will the outcome of the revolt be decided in combat, or is there a peaceful solution? It all depends on the actions you take in the coming hours. Well, awesome. At least we got willpower now. Night. So let's see what's gonna happen next. The final hour. The conditions met the rebel. It is mere moments from midnight. The glow of the shining pillar is barely visible behind the crimson clouds forming in from the north. But the darkness hanging above the city is dissipated by countless lights. Crowds of people holding torches, stakes burning in the squares, houses in flames. The glow of the fires can also be seen from beyond the city walls. The legion marches down the road, inexorably approaching the gate of the city in the free throes of rebellion. The final battle draws near. All the forces that have chosen to defy the Overseer and the Empire flock to the city gate. I'm trying to figure out how this is gonna end. I just can't even fathom that. All the forces that have chosen to defy the Overseer and the Empire flock to the city gate, where you have set up your base. The soldiers of the last straw assemble commoners into squads and hastily arm them. Other rebels are led by nobles of the mantle and former members of the legion who have joined the revolt. The priests who have sided with you will spread the word of the twins from the city walls, attempting to convince the region's soldiers to retreat and allow the people of Anizot to be free of the lots. Preparations are also in full swing at the camp of the defenders of the Old Order, who have established a foothold. Preparations are also in full swing at the camp of the defenders of the Old Order. Who could that be? We massacred everyone. We've established a foothold in the ruins of Shar Milanida's palace. Wait, Otten is not it. Well, it can be some of the nobles, that's true. Soon their fate will be decided. Will they crush the revolt with the aid of the Legion, or be crushed themselves in the new era? Well, we have the army. We have cautious support, an indisputable leader of the common folk. Well, we'll see then. There's almost no time left, just enough for one last attempt to tip the scales in your favor. Will you spend this final hour appealing to one of your allies for help, or would it be wiser to wait and muster your forces for the final battle? Will you attempt to defeat the Legion and the Overseer's army in combat, or persuade them to retreat without engaging in battle? The fate of Anizot is in your hands. Well, we could go see Elborn. We could ask Connor for help, if he was a patriarch and not dead. Ask our family for help, if they were, still here. Gather the soldiers of the last row. Sophia hopeful. Well, I guess we can go see Elborn, but I'm not sure what that's gonna do. There are many highborn families in Anizot that have not yet responded to Otten's appeal to join the noble militia. They have preferred to lock themselves up in the mansions and avoid waging war against the lowborn. They could still be won over to your side, but you will need the help from a high-ranking nobleman. While there is still time, you take a few trusted men and head to the prefecture. Elborn greets you on the stairs, surrounded by gendarmes. He accepts your request eagerly. You're right, Brante. There are many nobles who are uncertain as to what fate will befall them if the revolt wins. We need to reassure them if we want to gain their support. With the help of the gendarmes, you send out an appeal to all the noble houses you consider dependable. Elborn signs the letters to each family personally. Noble sirs, you know me as a man of honor. I have been a loyal servant to the Overseer, but my ultimate duty is to uphold the law and ensure justice for all the estates. The high-handedness of the noble elite and the neglect of their lot, which is to rule the lower estate with care and wisdom, has led to the people of Anizot to the brink of despair. This is why I have sided with the revolt, and I encourage you to do the same. May it be known that once our victory has been achieved, none of you will face reprisal. I, Prefect Elborn, hereby swear that anyone who supports the revolt in word or deed will obtain a rightful place in the newly transformed city of Anizot. The messengers returns one by one, bringing back news that noble families have agreed not to stand in the way of the revolt. Only a few of them leave Elborn's appeal unanswered. The support of the nobles will be of great value in the critical hours of the confrontation. Midnight strikes. You can hear the menacing threat of the Legion outside the city walls. The time has come. You order the troops to assemble and prepare to defend the wall. The battle for Anizot. This event is consequences of your previous actions. And we're gonna see this one in the next episode, which is probably going to be the final one of this Let's Play, because I guess there's not much else to say. So, see you in the grand finale.